Part A says if each of these two firms sets its own output level to maximize its profits, assuming that the other firm holds constant its output level, what is the equilibrium price? Let's start with Alliance, which is Q1. They want to set their marginal revenue equal to the marginal cost. Total revenue for them is given by the demand curve, which is 200,000 minus 6 times Q1 plus Q2, which is the industry output since there's only two firms. That's price times their quantity, which is Q1. So marginal revenue is the partial derivative of this total revenue function with respect to Q1, because we're just talking about Alliance here. And so it's 200,000 minus 12 Q1 minus 6 Q2. Their total cost function is given as 8,000 times Q1, and so the marginal cost is just the derivative of this, which is 8,000. And so they're going to maximize profit by setting marginal revenue equal to marginal cost, and we see that we have two variables here, and we want to solve this for Q1 since we're talking about Alliance. And we do that, and we see that Q1 equals 16,000 minus 0.5 Q2. And this is what we call a reaction function because they've maximized their profit by setting marginal revenue equal to marginal cost, but the quantity that they want to sell depends on the quantity that the other player chooses. So we can't solve this yet. We only have one equation and two unknowns. We have to do the same thing for the other corporation, and we'll be able to solve these two systems simultaneously. So now let's look at Bangor Corporation, which is Q2. They also want to set marginal revenue equal to marginal cost. Their total revenue is price times quantity. Price is the original demand curve. Quantity is Q2 because we're just talking about them. And the marginal revenue is the partial derivative of this with respect to their quantity, which is 200,000 minus 6Q1 minus 12Q2. And that's just because the Q2s get multiplied by each other, which is Q2 squared, and so the exponent 2 gets multiplied by that minus 6. That's where the minus 12 comes from. Total cost is given as 12,000 Q1, and the marginal cost, again, is just the derivative, which is 12,000. So they're going to maximize profit by setting these marginal revenue equal to marginal cost. And we want to solve this for Q2 since we're now talking about Bangor Corporation. So we're going to add 12Q2 to both sides. We're going to divide by 12, and we'll have our second reaction function for Bangor Corporation, which is Q2 equals 15,667 minus 0.5 Q1. We can now solve these two equations simultaneously to find where they intersect and thus how much quantity each player produces. So substituting the second into the first, which means plugging in 15,667 minus 0.5 Q1 into Q2 in our first reaction function, we obtain the following. We just distribute the minus 0.5 to give us 16,000 minus 7,833 plus 0.25 Q1. We move the Q1s over to one side and all the constants to the other, and then we just want to divide by 0.75, and we see that Q1 is 10,889. And we want to find Q2, which is Bangor's output, by plugging this value into either original equation. So either of our two reaction functions, we can plug this quantity in and solve for the other. Well, it's easiest to do it for the second one because it's already solved in terms of Q1. So if we just plug in Q1, we'll have an answer for Q2, which is what we're looking for. So Q2 from our second reaction function is 15,667 minus 0.5 times Q1, and we just plug in what we found for Q1, which is 10,889, and we solve. Q2 is 10,222. So now we want to find the price. To find the price, plug both of these quantities back into the original demand function, which the problem gives us as P equals 200,000 minus 6 times Q1 plus Q2. And we have solved for the Q1 and Q2, so we can plug them into the equation, and now it's just hammering out a bunch of numbers. We add those, 21,111, and we multiply it by minus 6 and add it to 200,000. We find the price is 73,334. Part B says, what is the output of each firm? In Part A, we found Alliance's output to be 10,889 and Bangor's output to be 10,222. So we've kind of already solved this question just in order to get the answer to Part A. Part C says what is the profit of each firm. Alliance's profit is price times quantity minus total cost. The price for both firms is the same, it's 73,334. We solve for Alliance's quantity, it's 10,889, and the total cost was 8,000 times the quantity, so it's just 8,000 times the 10,889. So you see here Alliance's profit is about 711 million. And we can do the same thing for Bangor Corporation. price is the same, but the quantity is different. It's 10,222. And the marginal cost per unit is 12,000 instead of 8,000. But we just plug this into the profit function, and we see that the profit is about 626 million. That's it.